So it's about where you meet, where are the best places to meet somebody. Let's say the club versus the church.
Like honestly, it wasn't right to me. I was like, look, stay away from the, the online, because it's fake most of the time.
I will see the same person in the club.
I never thought that we actually met in the club, but
well, outside, but anyway.
Hi world.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
I'm Max and this is Patricia, my beautiful wife. And for those who hear the first time, so please don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Yes, subscribe is important.
Yeah, so if this is your first time, hello.
Hello, and please do subscribe. So 3, 2, 1, subscribe. Thank you. Now.
So this is our Let's Talk About discussion.
So it's a weekly thing.
Yeah.
We're doing this every week, and if you're here the first time, you can watch in the playlist the other videos that we released, and it's a free discussion. You, by the way, can pick up the topic as well. So today the topic of discussion is.
So it's about where you meet, where are the best places to meet somebody. Let's say the club versus the church. Does meeting somebody in the church means that the relationship is going to last versus meeting somebody in the club? And I want you guys to also comment below, where did you meet your significant other, and do you feel that if maybe you met them in the church it would have been better, or where are the best places to meet people also? So maybe this will help out a single person out there who doesn't know where to go to meet up somebody.
So do you want to start?
Okay, so this is, if you haven't seen our how we met video, you're gonna put it somewhere, yeah? So I met my husband while I was queuing outside a salsa dancing club. I was with my sister.
Wow, I never thought that we actually met in the club, but
well, outside, but anyway, outside. So my sister and I were queuing outside, and we were going salsa dancing in that salsa club. And when I was single, I decided to put myself out there to go out, and because I realized that staying at home, nobody's gonna find me at home. So I did put myself out there. I tried the church, and I realized that now I am not generalizing, okay? But I realized that some of the men that I met in church, they were kind of hypocrite. And they will come to church to meet good girls when themselves they were not necessarily good men or godly men. So they definitely knew that going and meeting somebody, trying to meet a woman in the church, they maybe 80% of the chance they will meet somebody godly. But for me, when I will start chatting to those men, I will kind of realize that they're not really as genuine as they say, and they want this godly woman, but when you look at their life, you look at the way they're talking, you listen to their stories, you look at the way they behave, they're not necessarily godly men themselves. So for me personally, my experience of meeting somebody in the church was not necessarily good. And this is a lot to do with, I think it's something to do also with the African community or the African culture. The men expect so much of the women, whereas the woman doesn't have to expect the same standards. I'm going to give an example. The men, when they will approach me, will ask me two things: can you cook, and are you a virgin?
Like straight up,
like after maybe the third or fourth conversation, it will go around, how many men have you slept with? Are you pure? Are you a virgin? And then I will ask them the same question: are you a virgin? Can you cook? And then they'll be like, well, I'm a man, it doesn't matter. And I always have this idea that if you want to marry a virgin as a man, either if you are not a virgin anymore and you are doing abstinence, that's okay. But if you want to marry a virgin but you are still sleeping around, or the last time you slept with somebody was, 6 months ago, you have no right to ask those kind of questions. So it kind of put me off, because they were expecting so much of me, but they were not willing to give a lot. And they will always talk about, oh, the woman that I marry, I want her to be submissive. But in that same verse, it does say that a woman has to be submissive to her husband. And in the same verse, there's only a comma, if I'm not mistaken, that says, but men, love your wife the way Christ loved the church. And we know that Christ gave his life for the church. So the Bible tells those men to love their wife so much that they are willing to actually sacrifice their life for their wives. But they will only focus on that part of the verse, and it always put me off. So I decided to, you know what, the church is not working for me. I'm not meeting the right kind of people. So I started going out with my sister, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I expanded my mind, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have met you.
Okay, so for the clarity, the video how we met is up there, and we did not meet in the club. Okay, she was going to the salsa dancing. It was the broad daylight. So
well, it was a salsa dancing club.
Yes, but I wasn't. It's not like
We
like
were
to
outside,
me.
yeah.
To me, when you meet someone in the club, it's like you have a the dance floor. You have a bar, and then this is the kind of the circumstances that you meet in the club, right? So it's in the club. I saw her walking on the street, and because she was going in, it's not, by the way, it's not like a club. It's just, I guess, they have something. By the way, I never actually got on inside. Or, I only went as far as the staircase, right? So we met on the staircase.
But, we're going into the club.
On the way, yeah. But,
yeah.
First of all, you just you mentioned about the church, and I was thinking my experience. I'd say the time I was going in church was like on a weekly basis. It was 2008, where I can actually remember that I was going like on a weekly basis. Yeah, like I'd say almost every weekend, every Sunday, I will be going to church. At that time, I was single, and of course there were beautiful girls, women, in that church. But I didn't feel that it's right for me, to approach a woman, in the church, because as again, that was inside me. I just didn't feel like going to the church is like you're going, on a
hunting mission.
Yeah, it's just to me it was wrong. It was morally wrong. It was not my objection. When objectives. When I was going to church. I was going there to receive that, the energy, to actually, listen to the word, so that's my experience. But as I say, there was very beautiful women in that church, and I just simply, look, I'm here, I'm here. This is the purpose that I'm here. I'm not here, for women. But again, that was just me at the time, and I remember that. Now talking about the club, and where you meet the your better half, I'd say as a teenager, I think I was still teenager or a very young adult, I heard this anecdote, where two men they're meeting on the street, and one is asking the other, he says like, oh, how is your life, how is your married life, and one saying, it's so bad, me and my wife, we're this. And then he's asking the other, says, look, how is your married life? And he said, well, everything is fine. My wife, she's wonderful. We have wonderful relationships, this and that, right? So the other one is saying, oh, but how is it possible? And the second man is replying, well, where did you meet your wife? And he's like, well, we met in the club. And the other one said, well, we met in the library, okay?
That's good.
I mean, it's an example, but it's an example of, of course now, how many people meet in the library. I mean, we live in an internet. People meet in an internet, But the point being, and I do believe in that, it is important, it is important where you meet, especially, myself, I had experience, a meeting, a woman in the club that was years ago, and, we had relationships, and, we broke up, but I remember, that was the time I even, spoke to my auntie, and my auntie, she's not the wisest woman, but I remember, she said once, well, you meet her in the club, she's still probably, partying, and all that, and the truth being told, she still is, like I'm not saying she's the party girl only, but she's still in this, like, going out, and it's not just club as a club. It's just like the the nature of people. Again, nothing wrong going to the club, but to me it was a lesson. It was a lesson. First of all, when you're in the club, more likely you will be slightly or heavily intoxicated. That's one. Second, the all these lights and everything, you don't see the person, how the really person look like. Okay. Third, in the club we like, what's the word, flamboyant, like it's basically, like every guy in the club is, is a millionaire, he's spending the money. Every girl in the club, she's like, look, I just the phone call from this modeling agency, and like the way they dress, and I'm not saying just the girls, the men's, so it's a fake thing, right? So again, would you have experience meeting people in the clubs? But how that experience worked, I have my own experience with it. Now, I was not necessarily looking for a girl in the library per se, but it was also an experience, and meeting my wife, the circumstances, the way we met. It's just, I think it's right, because it was it was a broad daylight. I wasn't in any stage of intoxication. She was not intoxicated and crazy stuff, right? You remember you always say that the in the club, it's like, what's your name? What's your name?
And then somebody's shouting in your ear and you're like,
and the next day you have this husky voice, because so
Yeah.
again, it's I think it's an honest, and I think the same goes if we're talking about the online dating as well. Yeah. Like many others, I also had experience, and I think it was the very the beginning. I say it was 2005 that I remember. Yeah, it was also the dating, like kind of social platform. Because remember, before Facebook, it was a dating websites where people were meeting, and I remember, I met couple women, and like honestly, it wasn't the right, to me. I was like, look, stay away from the the online, because it's again, it's fake most of the time.
I know personally a couple who met online and they're still together, and I know a couple on Instagram also who met online and now they have 3 kids. But they met on a Christian online. I wouldn't go to what's it called, Tinder, or those swipe left and right. Like they met on a Christian couple forum.
Look,
and
I'd
it
say
worked out for them,
everyone have experience, and in this sense, like that was my own experience, online dating. I wouldn't, I wouldn't basically, like it was like literally, twice, and in both cases, I just said, look.
The world is changing. Like I did try the online dating.
That was years ago.
Yeah, I did try the online dating, and I remember at some point there was kind of a meet and greet when everyone was gonna go there and meet, and I went there and I didn't make a connection with anybody. But like the thing about online dating was, I don't even know if I can call it online dating. Maybe it was kind of like an online single group,
Right.
like a single night out, and I went there and. Like it was actually normal people who were looking for love, but I didn't make a connection there. So I think when it comes to online dating, it depends how you approach it. Because actually, now thinking about this, I know 3 couples who met online, and it also depends on the site, I guess, that you pick. Because if you go on Tinder, what are the chances that you will find somebody on Tinder who was actually looking for a serious relationship? So I think you kind of need to know which are the best online dating sites. We don't have any experience. I cannot really give advice on where to go for online dating, but what I will say is, like, if you go to Tinder, the chances of you meeting somebody are very slim. But if you go to, let's say, a reputable online dating site for, let's say, Muslim or Christian or whatever, where you have to pay a monthly fee, where they have to actually
real
vet,
profile.
they have to vet you and all that, maybe that's actually a better way. And when it comes to clubbing, I tried clubbing as well, and I kid you not, I really put myself out there because I was sick of being single, and I kid you not, every single weekend I would see the same person in the club, and it felt like I was going to I don't know, like I saw the same person, the same girls, the same men every single weekend, and I was like, at some point I was like, I don't like this look. I don't want to look like I'm irregular here, but I saw the same person every day, every weekend, and at some point I think it was my fifth or sixth visit, I actually saw somebody different. It was a different man. I was like, this guy is different. And this is when something went into my head. It's like, Patricia, you're becoming irregular that you know everybody here. So this is not good. And I remember actually that different guy approaching me. And there was this guy who was like, and that guy was irregular. He was like, oh yeah, she's very beautiful. And I was like, what the hell? This is not a good look. So like, at least, I put myself out there, and you kind of know what works and what doesn't work. And then when my sister said, okay, let's try salsa dancing, because we were both trying to put ourselves out there. When she said, let's try salsa dancing, I was like, yeah, at least with salsa dancing, you can have a conversation with the person, you can get to know the person, because in the club, they're just screaming in your ear, and I'm not a heavy drinker. So I will go there with the intention to actually get to know somebody, have a conversation, and I felt silly because the music is loud, they cannot hear me, they're very drunk, they're not looking at me, they're looking at me, and I was like, okay, this is not where you can have a conversation. But I love the idea of a library, like actually
it's a very old story.
But if I was single and I meet somebody in the library in this DNA age, in this DNA whatever it sells, but whatever you say, I would actually feel like, wow, this is a gem. Meeting I love geeks. I'm into geeks. I'm not into cool guys. Well, you're a cool guy, you're not really a geek, but there's an exception. Like I'm always attracted to the brain. So meeting somebody in the library wearing glasses, reading a book on geography or whatever, history, I will actually approach the guy.
So gentlemen, this is a hint for you.
No, if you are clever,
wear glasses,
carry a book, go to the library, read a geography book or whatever. It is attractive.
Now I'm listening to you, and I guess what I have to I have to point out is that that meeting in the club that I had, that was like literally 20 years ago. Okay, so I guess myself, I'm a slightly different person now. So I guess the mindset, it's not the same as 20 years ago. Secondly, the online dating, like as I say, that was before the social network, and it was literally 2005. I remember the years, 2005 and then 2006, and since then I don't remember even using any of these sites. And going church 2008, I know my dates, right? So I'm just I'm listening to this and I'm thinking to myself, I have been, not that I have been off market, but I haven't really been, proactively looking for, you can proactively look for relationships, right? I guess, you're proactively looking for a partner, but then again, how can you proactively look for a partner? It's happening when it's happening. But the point being is that I think, the place where you meet, it's important, the circumstances, is important. And you might meet someone in the workplace, it's happening. I actually heard that, the romance, at work are very strong. I guess, the connection there.
Because you see them every day.
You see people in the, the atmosphere when you have to kind of, behave, professionally. You kind of, it's a different side of us where, like I said, in the club, like how do you know in the club, who is the, the manager, who is the, the cleaner, who is the, I don't know, like how would you know who is who? Everybody is like billionaires there, in the club. So it's, as I say, it's not the real, it's not the real atmosphere. Where at work, I guess, you being who you are, you have to behave, you have to build relationships, and that's how how people build in relationships, and then getting closer. However, I think as well, the romance at work, there is also what would you call the
sexual harassment,
underwater stones? What's it called?
I mean, it's if it goes sour, if it goes south, how you gonna be working and look at the same person every day?
Yeah, so
There's
it's
a
like
risk.
build the relationships, and I think again, like from professional standpoint, I don't know, is it professional, or how would you even, approach? Because
I mean, the romance at work, I understand it because you will see each other every day and things like that. But if it goes south, now you have to look at that person every day and you want to strangle them.
That's that's another
And
point.
what if the person becomes bitter and throws a sexual harassment case on you? I saw a movie where I can't remember the name of the movie, but they wanted to date each other and they went to HR and they signed a contract to kind of make sure that nobody will come back and say sexual harassment.
But you have to do it. You have to. In a corporation now, if the person, if there's two people from the same company, they start in relationship, they actually have to notify HR.
Yeah, and
so
it's to protect yourself. And also, if you're on the same team, you cannot be on the same team because you have to be in different team.
I don't know. We can be like love is love.
You cannot be on the same team because I know the team that I joined recently. Yeah. I was working with the husband. And his wife is working on another team, and he couldn't join that team because he would be working closely with his wife. So you cannot work on the same team. I guess it's for security reasons and stuff. And also, let's say you had a bad day and then you have to work with him and he say, hey, can you do this for me? Like, I cannot imagine working for you with like, hey, love, can you do this for me? Like, no, do it yourself. Like, you will give him attitude. You're not going to be professional. Yeah. So you cannot work in the same team because, come on, I hear you snoring and, I see your crazy.
Okay, love, so it's the church or the club? I'd say, it's, church. to me, church is for God, club is for,
fun.
Letting out the steam, so say, can you meet, a person there, can you meet your partner? Yeah, perhaps. Of course. Will it work? Again, I think
in the club, you mean?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Both. Really, it's really. I just think again, it's the circumstances and that, in church, the people, the mindset, the people who actually getting up in the morning, dressing up, make that effort, going to the church, sit there. It's a different, level, spiritual level. It's a different, intelligence level.
Not everyone in church is in a good spiritual level. Some go there just to hunt. Some people in church are predators.
Right,
well, there's the worst things that happen in church: sexual harassment, rapes, and all that. So at least in the So for me, I am actually very wary of churches because they hide a lot of ugly things, and then they like to blame the devil for every ugly act that they do. So anyway, it depends on the person's heart, but for me, I guess in my experience, church didn't work for me because of the predator that came there. The club didn't work for me because I wanted to have a conversation to get to know somebody. I love the idea of a library. I am not against online dating, as if it's a very good, reputable online site. You can meet somebody in the street and just approach them if something just respectfully.
But you wouldn't approach anyone on the street.
Well,
right?
you approach me, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So if we're talking, because we have the women viewers as well, right?
Oh, so how will the woman?
Yeah, so for a woman, to approach the man, I like
in the street it's different. And for a woman, it's
as
different.
I say, it's different. So circumstances.
In the park.
So online, to me again, online is just I'm kind of skeptical, but again, I guess it's on the age. Depends on the age. If you're in your 20s, it's flirting is probably easier to do so. I don't have perhaps the experience of online dating. The one that I have is from 16 years ago. The internet 16 years ago was different to the internet that is now. I guess the age group as well, it will be a different. I guess when you're in 20s, it's easier to link up with a person and okay, let's go to the club or let's go to whatever, organize some activities. So maybe I'm just thinking out loud. Maybe the time has changed, and the technology is improved in that sense. So I think from the woman standpoint, it is probably more realistic, to meet someone, to meet a man, online rather than approach. For guys, I think for the guys is to approach a woman, if you see a right, not right, of course you don't know right or wrong, but if you see a woman that you really like, oh wow, it has to be that wow moment, but it has to be again the right circumstances. But I think it's an old school, but I feel that it's the right way.
Respectfully, don't go yo mama and no excuse
the
me.
approach is
The approach is everything, because you approached me outside and you were very respectful. That's why I gave you a chance. But don't come and say yo mama what's up and be rude. Just excuse me, hi. Just be respectful. That's the main thing.
But it's also, if you approach someone, hey mama, what's going on, shorty,
people approach me like this.
I know, but it's like, if you think about, right, as a fishing, right? So if that's the bait that you use, what kind of fish you gonna, like if you're looking for,
some people like
if you're looking, but that's the whole point. If this is my approach and the person is reacting to that, and then we click. I mean,
well, you both deserve each other. You the fish of the same pond.
So if this is if this is how you talk normally, then I guess this is fine. This isn't how I talk normally, okay? And like for me to approach someone with this line, that will be just stupid. So if if that will be you and I approaching you with this line and you replying to me,
your daddy,
and then I have to I have to continue, and I'm like, sorry, actually my vocabulary is finished, so just be real, be real. And I think we living in a digital world, and the things are changing, but the best way is to just be
be you, be authentic.
See the person, like there's so many. I mean, of course now we're on in lockdowns and everything, but it's still possible. And like online is fine, but if you really think about, like now we're discussing this, like you meet someone, let's say in airport, right? You traveling, and person is traveling, so you meet in airport. Even you have this, oh wow, the moment, the spark. The person live in one country, you live in another country. How will that be possible? So I guess when you're meeting someone, offline, so first of all, you live in the same place, more or less, the vicinity of, the place. It's not like person is traveling 300 kilometers, to, get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it has to be
now you're
right.
going off subject, because this is like long distance relationship and stuff. But, okay, I think we kind of gave a lot of information. So guys, I just want you guys to comment below. Where do you think are the best places to meet people? Personally, I love the idea of a library, and I don't mind online dating as long as it's a good site. Meeting in a club, maybe not. Maybe a bar where you're sitting down and because like a bar would be chilled, a chill environment. The church, I'm not saying no to the church, but be careful, ladies, because some men are really predators in the church. This is what I've seen, and this is what I've experienced. So let us know, where did you meet, and what are the best places to meet people?
Well, I think it's enough for let's talk about serious. So guys, again, thanks for watching, and just to remind you that you can comment below. Comment below. What do you think the next subject of discussion should be? We'll definitely we'll read all the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. So once again, share this video with your friends. That will help us grow our channel. Also, your likes, please, we want to know.
They really do help this channel, so please don't forget to like and comment, share the video, like my husband say. And we'll see you into the next episode. Thank you for watching. If you've made this far, God bless, and
bye.
Stay safe. Bye.